ang pagtanggi ni Vice President Sara Duterte na sagutin ang mga tanong tungkol sa kanyang panukalang budget at ang questionable niyang paggastos sa mga nagdaang OVP budget na sinita ng Commission ng Audit ang mga dahilan kung bakit tayo narito ngayon. Her claim of leaving it to the House to do what it thinks is right is just a palusot, a smoke screen, a cover because she does not want to provide proof for the numbers she stated in her PowerPoint presentation. Mahigit 3 weeks na po mula nung unang OVP budget hearing. Pero hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin nagsusumiti si VP Sara o sino man sa Office of the Vice President ng solidong dokumento o detalye na magpapatunay sa mga sinasabi nila sa kanilang presentasyon.
Yes po.
Yes, sir. Nakalagay po doon na witnesses lang po ang ino-oath. Sabi niyo po ngayon sa amin, resource persons kami.
And we are still waiting for the authority to proceed from the Committee on Rules. The hearing is suspended until we have receipt of the said authority to proceed.
Parliamentary inquiry.
Congressman Panaligan.
Before we proceed with the voting, may I inquire as to the propriety or timeliness of this committee taking cognizance of the issues raised in the previous speech of the Honorable Valeriano. I understand that the subject of this inquiry are the issues raised by Honorable Valeriano in his previous speech. I also understand that this concerns transactions, certain transactions of the OVP and DepEd. However, those transactions are subject of current COA investigations. And we also know that said COA findings are still pending, subject to appeal or reconsideration. So in view of that, I just want to be clarified as to the propriety of this committee taking cognizance of the of said transactions.
Mr. Chair.
Before I recognize the Honorable Flores, the Chair would like to recognize the presence of Congresswoman Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, former President, Honorable Aurelio Dong Gonzales, our Senior Deputy Speaker, Congressman Roberto Uy of the 1st District of Zamboanga del Norte, Honorable Janet Garin, Vice Chairperson and Congresswoman of 1st District of Iloilo. Honorable Flores, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, first and foremost, the authority of the House to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation has been already established, Mr. Chair. Not only is it provided for by the Constitution, Mr. Chair, it has also been well settled in jurisprudence and in Supreme Court decisions that the House may conduct inquiries in aid of legislation. We are not here to replace the findings of the COA, Mr. Chair, so it should not in any way interfere with the investigation also being conducted by the COA. We're just here to find out if we could, through legislation, either improve it or protect it or whatever, Mr. Chair. So I think the presence or the fact that there is already a COA investigation should not deter the House from conducting its own inquiries, Mr. Chair, in accordance with, of course, Article 6, Section 21 of our Constitution, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Flores.
Mr. Chair.
Honorable the Vice Chair, Congressman Benny Abante is recognized.
All right. In response to the query of our good colleague there, also related to the statement of Congressman Flores, may I read Rule 1, Section 1 of the Rules of Procedure governing proceedings before the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability as far as jurisdiction is concerned. It says here, and I quote, "The Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability shall have jurisdiction over all matters directly and principally relating to malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance in office committed by officers and employees of the government, and its political subdivisions and instrumentalities, inclusive of investigations of any matter of public interest on its own initiative or upon order of the House, Mr. Chair.
Did that satisfy you, Congressman Panaligan?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We will now proceed. The chair will now rule on the motion to move for the preliminary determination of privilege speech number 379. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Mr. Chair,
Sino yun? Honorable Lara, you recognize.
thank you very much, Your Honor, Mr. Chair. I would like to make a manifestation, Mr. Chair, that during the budget deliberations, there are issues raised concerning the fund utilization of DepEd. In the manifestation of Representative Jervil, Jinky Beatrix R. Luistro of the 2nd District of Batangas, during the budget hearing of the Department of Education o DepEd sa Committee on Appropriations dito sa Kamara, kung saan hinikayat niya na magkaroon ng investigasyon paukol sa kapalpakan ng ahensyang mag-deliver ng mga computer units in good condition sa mga end users, mga guro at estudyante at iba pang isyong may kinalaman sa paggamit ng pondo ng bayan ng naturang ahensya upang makita natin kung mayroon bang misfeasance, malfeasance, o non-feasance. Sa madaling salita, Mr. Chair, I wish to manifest that this committee, the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, determine whether there is misfeasance, malfeasance, or non-feasance, at kung may mga paglabag ang mga kawani ng naturang ahensya sa kanilang mga tungkulin bilang mga kawani, Mr. Chair.
That is exactly where we are heading, Congressman Lara.
Salamat, Mr. Chair.
And to continue, as manifested by Congressman Lara, the committee, by a majority vote of all members, decided to conduct a Moto proprio investigation on the September 10, 2024 manifestation of Congresswoman Luistro during the budget hearing of DepEd, particularly on the agency's failure to deliver computers in good condition to end users and other issues concerning its budget utilization. Since this is a Moto proprio inquiry, and we are still waiting for the authority to proceed from the Committee on Rules, the hearing is suspended until we have receipt of the said authority to proceed. Is there any objection? The hearing is now suspended.
We are still awaiting for the authority. So, later na po muna yon. Wala pa po tayong authority from the Committee on Rules. In the meantime, may I request the COMSEC to administer the oath of the invited guests and the resource persons.
Thank you, Your Honor. To all the resource persons invited, kindly stand up and raise your right hand, please. Representatives and resource persons from the Office of the Vice President, COA, and DBM po. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, the Honorable Vice.
when you
President.
sent a letter to the Office of the Vice President, you attached a copy of the rules
Okay.
in aid of legislation.
Yes po.
Yes, sir. Nakalagay po doon na witnesses lang po ang ino-oath. Sabi niyo po ngayon sa amin, resource persons kami.
Ang ano po, considered as resource person po.
Ang ano po.
Kayo po.
Kaya nga po,
Yes po. Lahat po ino-oath po.
Yes,
Apo.
nakalagay po sa rules ninyo, witnesses, nakalagay po dito ngayon sa table resource persons.
Considered as a resource person and witness. Lahat po naman kayo, lahat resource person pa eh. Wala pa naman po tayong tinatawag na, lahat po considered as resource person pa lang po.
Right. Opo. Ang nasa rules ninyo, witnesses lang po ang nag-oath. Wala po kayong rules sa resource persons.
Ma'am, ano lang po yun eh. Yung term lang po yun eh. Pero considered as a resource person din po kayo eh.
Yes, sir. Resource persons nga po
Kayong
nakalagay
witness
dito.
din po at saka resource person po.
Hindi niyo po sinabi na witness ako. Sinabi niyo po dito ngayon, resource persons. Ang nakalagay po sa rules ninyo, witness.
Comsec, ano po yung pinadala po ninyo?
Yun pong rules in aid of legislation.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
What is the point of order of the Honorable Congressman
This issue about
Macapagal?
witness, resource person, etc., etc.
Ma'am, pakilakas lang po, hindi po marinig.
Persons and accused has been taken up in previous legislative inquiries in aid of legislation. I want to quote a December 8, 2008 hearing in the Senate, where Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago issued had an opinion on a similar situation, but she quoted a Supreme Court ruling. So the Constitution provides that no person shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. The Supreme Court has repeatedly emphasized that there is a difference between a mere witness and the accused. And it can appear from statements and privileged speeches that there is that a person who is the subject matter of an adverse privileged speech is not a mere witness or a mere person of interest, meaning a suspect. She is in fact accused of what seems to be a criminal case for violation of certain criminal laws, including malversation of public funds. And there is a case quoted in 2007, Standard Chartered Bank versus the Committee on Banks, where the court repeated the rule that an accused occupies a different tier of protection from an ordinary witness. So when the court said, Supreme Court said, whereas an ordinary witness may be compelled to take the witness stand and claim the privilege at each question requiring an incriminating answer is shot at him, an accused may altogether refuse to take the witness stand and refuse to answer any or all questions. So that has been a Supreme. And then there is a portion that the court explained that the right of the accused against self-incrimination also applies to respondents in administrative investigations, such as legislative inquiries in aid of legislation. This is the point of order I am raising, and there is a Supreme Court ruling to this effect. Thank you, Mr.
Madam Congresswoman Arroyo, may I know if may I be clarified if the tenor of your point of inquiry is referring to the sub judice case or rule?
Referring to the sub judice case, but it is saying that when a witness, in fact, is in reality the accused.
Ma'am, pakilakas po ng konti. Medyo hindi ko po...
What he's saying is that if by the nature, for instance, of the privileged speech, if the witness is not a mere but the person being asked is not a mere witness or a mere person of interest, he is in fact the accused of what seems to be a case including malversation of public funds. And the court repeated the rule that an accused occupies a different tier of protection from an ordinary witness. So from given what Miriam Defensor Santiago said and the Supreme Court ruling that she's quoting, we cannot, what do you call this? We cannot just trivialize. Kasi you're just a witness. You're a witness. Pareho na rin yung witness, resource person. They are not the same. The Supreme Court says they are not the same. And somebody who appears to be the accused has a different tier of protection from a witness. And in fact, can refuse to take the witness stand.
Congressman Flores, you're recognized.
Mr. Chair, this is an inquiry in aid of legislation, and no one is
Mr.
technically accused of any wrongdoing here, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, look at the speech.
Ma'am,
Look at the
please,
speech, Mr. Chair,
ma'am,
the privilege.
please wait to be
Mr.
recognized.
Chair,
first.
may I request a
Wait,
1
I will,
minute
I will-
recess?
1 minute. 1 minute
Thank
recess
you.
declared by the
Yes.
chair.
Mr. Chair, yes. Mr. Chair,
Session resumes.
Mr. Chair, may I speak?
You will be given the opportunity later,
Okay.
Madam Vice President. In any event, the point of the Honorable Arroyo is well taken, but we will proceed to the oath taking. If the Vice President refuse to take her oath, we will respect that. In the meantime, COMSEC, please proceed with the oath taking of the other witnesses.
To all the other witnesses and or resource persons, please stand up and raise your right hand, inviting the DBM, the COA, and other staff from the Office of the Vice President, Your Honor. Okay. Please your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the statements you will give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. The oath has been administered, Your Honor.
We will now proceed to before we proceed to the interpellation proper, the chair will recognize the Honorable Vice President for her message. Yes, ma'am. You are recognized, ma'am.
A message, sir, or my statement regarding the point of order? Message? Mga kababayan, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum, Warakmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Madayaw, mayong adlaw, kaninyong tanan. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. The officials of the Office of the Vice President, as well as each and every one of our satellite leads satellite office leads were in receipt of a letter from the chairman of the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability dated September 13, 2024, requesting our presence or that of our duly authorized representatives in today's initial deliberation with preliminary determination on privilege speech number 379. In view of the said letter, I am appearing before you today not only as the head of office, but more importantly, as the duly authorized representative of all officials of the OVP. Simply because we have not done anything wrong. There is no misuse of funds. If there are audit findings, we shall gladly respond to them before the Commission on Audit. And if there are legitimate cases to be filed, then we shall gladly respond to them before the appropriate courts. In relation to this, may I just say that I take notice of the opening speeches and nasabi doon, there is a determination of misfeasance, nonfeasance, and malfeasance. And those are cases that should properly be taken in the courts of law. What we are witnessing now is no ordinary legislative inquiry. This exercise is a well-funded and coordinated political attack. This much is evident from the very words of the privileged speech that prompted this inquiry. A speech that simply meant to say, do not vote for Sara on 2028. It is clear to me that this inquiry is not about misused funds, accountability, or governance. Instead, it is solely aimed at discrediting my name and my office to prevent future political contests. I have publicly stated my reasons as to why I've chosen not to defend the OVP's budget proposal for 2025. I have narrated the issues I encountered in previous years, which can easily be confirmed by looking at the NEP, the GAB, and the GAA for fiscal years 2023 and 2024. Further, I have even shared the drama that transpired last year regarding the confidential funds. Hence, just as we have done last year, we again leave the 2025 OVP budget to the pleasure of Congressman Martin Romualdez. I am not asking for any special treatment, nor am I asking you to uphold any tradition. There is no disrespect. All I am saying is that you have the complete freedom to do whatever you wish with the OVP budget. If you feel that all the documentary submissions are not enough, then by all means, huwag kayo magbigay ng budget. Sa totoo lang, hindi naman ang budget ang punteriya ninyo. Dahil napakadali naman magtanggal ng budget. What you are trying to do is make a case for impeachment. Hindi naman ako kakandidato sa nalalapit na eleksyon. Hindi ako namumulitika. Ang ginagawa ko lamang ay ang pagtupad sa aking oath of office at campaign platforms na trabaho, edukasyon, at mapayapang pamumuhay. Sinabi ko na noon at ilang beses ko nang inulit na hindi ako ang problema ng bayan na ito. Ang totoong problema ng bayan ay kagutuman, kahirapan, illegal na droga, kriminalidad, terorismo, hindi na sapat na healthcare, kalidad ng edukasyon, kawalan ng plano ng infrastruktura para sa disasters, at marami pang iba. So, you may try to destroy me, you can skin me alive, and throw my ashes to the wind. But let it be known, you will find me unbowed. I will continue to serve the Filipino people no matter the personal cost or political intrigue. Having said that, I will not allow myself to be subjected to an inquiry based on an empty privilege speech, just so you can attack me and do indirectly what you failed to do directly during the budget hearings. I therefore request this committee to terminate this inquiry for its clear lack of any proposed legislation or substantive matter for discussion. Shukran.
The committee cannot rule on that because the committee already took cognizance of this privilege speech. Anyway, we will now proceed. Next, we will recognize the representative from COA,
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Marcoleta.
may I please raise a parliamentary inquiry?
What is your parliamentary inquiry?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The rules of the committee says that this committee only acquires jurisdiction on matters of nonfeasance, misfeasance, malfeasance. And under Section 2, Mr. Chair of the rules, there should be a prior determination whether or not these malfeasance, nonfeasance, and misfeasance are directly or specifically relating to the persons charged of this. Has this committee made a prior determination of this? And if so, when did it happen? And where is the order specifying that the committee has just reached a prior determination? This is very important, Mr. Chair, because the rules also says that after determining or making a prior determination, this committee will set an order. And that is the only way that this committee acquire jurisdiction over the person's subject matter of this inquiry. And that particular order of prior determination will set out the parameters. If I can make a comparison, Mr. Chair, in regular court, it is called pre-trial order, where the parameters of the inquiry, the presentation of evidence or explanations or allegations are limited to that set of stipulation. So considering, Mr. Chair, and I assume that there is no prior determination, I do not think how we can start the meeting today because we are supposed to observe the rules. I'm referring to Section 2 of the rules of this committee, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. To answer that, Congressman Marcoleta, we have already ruled on the preliminary determination a while ago. Medyo na late na po kayo. Now, with respect to your inquiry, that if we can proceed with this, considering that this is an investigation of malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance, let me walk you through through the definition of a good government and public accountability. It provides that all matters directly and principally relating to malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance in office committed by officers and employees of the government and its political subdivision and instrumentalities inclusive of investigations of any matter of public interest on its own initiative or upon order of the House. For the information of everybody, the issue on confidential fund is a matter of public interest. Lahat po tayo ay interesado, hindi lamang po tayo, yung publiko po, interesado kung paano po ito nagamit. Kaya yun po ang dahilan why this committee has jurisdiction over the subject matter.
But Mr.
Yes,
Chair,
Congressman Marcoleta.
Mr. Chair, under Section 5, there should be a record of preliminary determination. It says that the proceedings in the preliminary investigation or determination shall be recorded through stenographic notes. What you were mentioning are motu proprio cases. I am assuming that this committee started by way of a referral because of a privileged speech delivered on the floor by one of us. And so this is the main subject matter of this committee meeting, and to which we should first determine preliminarily whether or not this committee acquires jurisdiction. And I demand a record of preliminary determination under Section 5 because it says, upon termination thereof, Mr. Chair, the chairperson shall issue an order which shall recite in details the matters taken up. So what are the matters taken up, Mr. Chair? I think we should be able to comply with these elementary rules as specified in the governing rules.
Well, considering that we are still we have yet to proceed to the interpellation, we are still in the period of recognizing the resource person as well as the witness. With that, the chair declares 1 minute suspension.